Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Now let me ask you something, are you looking for a post-apocalyptic game to play which will include many horrors and zombies? Well, this video will definitely help you. Hello everyone, my name is Henry and this is Henry as VTV coming at you with more gaming news. Like I mentioned a second ago, today we will be going through the ultimate list for zombie horror games. Now without further ado, let's go ahead and check all of these games that are looking pretty interesting and fantastic. Now the first game to make it into our list is Dead Pixels 2. Now if you enjoy the good old classic video games, then this is definitely a game that you want to check in. Dead Pixels 2 is a shooter video game with RPG elements where you can play with up to 4 different players in a co-op mode. The story begins in the year of 1883 where the city of New Lexington was destroyed. All of this after a chemical disaster caused the dead to come back to life, and it only took a few years after the whole of America was overrun by the virus. Now it is the year 1991 and your main objective is to fight your way through the hordes of the undead as you try to find a way out of the city. You'll have to fight off zombies, scavenge buildings for supplies, and work with others for a higher chance of survival. Now the second title in our list is Dead Island 2. Since its E3 2014 reveal, this game has gone through some development difficulties, and for a long period of time, development for the game was originally handled by Jaeger Development, then Soma Digital took over in 2016, and later Dambuster Studios in 2019. So it's been many years since we've gotten an update regarding Dead Island 2. There are still some tweets around that are confirming that the game is still alive and it is in production. With Dambuster Studios taking over, the chances of this game getting completed have increased. However, we will have to wait and see if there's any major updates coming this year, but so far what we know is that it will not take place in the fictional island of Banoy like in the previous series, but instead it will take place in a series of real-life locations across California. The game will have an expanded crafting system over the original series and will feature a co-op mode with up to 8 players, which will increase your chances of surviving against the undead. Now moving on to the next one in our list, we have Undying. Undying is an emotional survival game that follows a mother and a son as they embark on an adventure to safety during a zombie apocalypse. In this game, you will be in control of a mother called Angling, who sadly has been bitten, leaving her with just a few days before turning into a zombie. Her goal now is to teach her son Cody everything needed to ensure his survival. This would include how to explore different areas, how to gather resources such as food and water. In this game, resources are very limited and they must be managed. All of this in order to slow down Angling's infection while making sure that both of them do not starve from hunger or thirst. Now this next game in our list is one of my favorite ones and is no other than Resident Evil Village. After the success of Resident Evil 7, Capcom is now leveling up their game with a new survival horror launch. This will be the 8th mainline entry in the Resident Evil franchise. Resident Evil Village will take place in a village in Europe and promises to deliver realistic environments and new characters. The story is set a couple of years after the events of Resident Evil 7 and will feature Ethan Winters as its main protagonist. Recent updates have delivered more information regarding the main story, in which it revolves around Ethan trying to rescue his daughter after being kidnapped by no other than Chris Redfield. RE Village will continue the first-person perspective, same as in Resident Evil 7, while it focuses more on combat and exploration rather than the previous games. In this game, you can expect challenges finding resources. In this game, you will find many new enemies including werewolves and vampires. Now, we can also see giant monsters that will scare every bone of your body and new types of zombies. And just like this, we have gotten into our next game, which is Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 is set up after the events of the first game and it introduces Aiden Caldwell as the main protagonist. He is an infected survivor who uses his abilities to gain allies and escape from the many threats including the undead. Even though Techland has indefinitely delayed this game in their Zombie Parker survival series, Dying Light 2 promises on delivering an enhanced game with better animations along with highly interactive environments, where you will be able to make decisions that really matter and have great consequences. This game promises to deliver a hardcore level of RPG elements, and has been said that decisions could potentially impact the length of the main story. Additionally, there are new additions to this game such as new moves, new faction systems that will let you choose your allies and therefore your enemies, and will also include new types of zombies. So get ready to jump from building to building and explore even the darkest places filled with your worst nightmares. And this game in our list is Back 4 Blood, which is a multiplayer survival horror game. This one's been developed by Turtle Rock Studios. I understand this game will be released in June 22nd, 2021. The game has been considered to be the successor of Left 4 Dead, and it is being developed by the creators of the original game. Now, the game will be placed after an outbreak where most of humanity is either deceased or infected, and all that is left is a post-apocalyptic world. Now, something pretty cool about this game is that it has a 4-player co-op option, and there's a PvP option as well where you can play with up to a total of 8 players. And so we move on to our second game in our list, which is the Callisto Protocol. Now, this game is a third-person survival horror game which has been scheduled to be released sometime during the next year. Now, something that you want to know about this game is that it is being developed by the studio Striking Distance, which was founded by Glenn Schofield. Now, Glenn, previously, he was the one who co-created the Dead Space series. So this gives us an idea of what it is that we will be getting into when playing this game. The game will take you into the future, as it is set in the year of 2320, and these events happen in a colony called Black Iron, which is located in Callisto, which by the way happens to be one of Jupiter's moon. You will be set behind the role of a prisoner who is being held at a prison called Black Iron, only to find yourself in the middle of an alien invasion. Now, I am not 100% sure if this falls into the zombie type of game, but definitely has some elements to it. And so we move on to our next one, which is The Day Before. Now, this one looks just fantastic from the get-go. This game just came out of nowhere, and it is being developed by Fantastic, and it will be released supposedly sometime during 2021. There are numerous things that you can look forward to in this game. For one, it is a PvP survival game in which you will be able to team up with your friends. Since the game promises to feature survivor settlements, there is a lot of exploration involved, a looting and crafting system, which looks pretty decent so far for what we have seen so far in the trailer. Basically, this game will set you after a post-pandemic that got most of the population infected. So your goal is to stay alive at all costs and protect yourself from the zombies and other players. Now, speaking about post-apocalyptic games, the next one in our list is After the Fall. Now, After the Fall will take you into a VR perspective in a co-op survival adventure. The intention of this game is to challenge you with other 3 players while being part of the very hostile VR world in a fight for survival. The game is being developed by Vertigo Games and will be released sometime during 2021. In this game, you will be set 20 years after the apocalypse. This game will offer an atmospheric campaign filled with a lot of action, and you can either play solo or multiplayer. Now, something interesting to know is that the zombie outbreak in this game started due to the excessive use of some sort of drugs, which gave birth to the terrible infestation. So get yourself ready for exploration and surviving at all cost. Now, with more games talking about infections, here comes State of Decay 3. Now, State of Decay 3 is one of those games that really get your attention. While there is not an official release date, this game is being worked to offer a great survival experience in which there are only a few survivors. And for what we see in the trailer, even animals are infected in this game, as opposed to the previous games, which only feature humans and mutated humans as the main threat. Now, this game is still in active development, and probably we will be hearing more about this game in the near future. And so we move on to our next game, which is Sins of Planet. Now, Sins of Planet brings on a brand new mixed experience of PvP and PvE, where your main threat comes from both a massive swarm of enemies and other players. So this is a game of tactics in which you can even use the many enemies to your advantage to outsmart your opponents and claim your victory. Now, this game will offer an experience system, so gain as much experience as possible while playing this game using the various equipment options provided to you. There is a large option of weapons to choose from, ranging from handguns and grenades to heavy assault rifles. Now, something else that the developers of this game mention is that Next to You is dedicated to building a world-class gaming experience and immersion. All of these using the technology such as RTX for real-time ray tracing and Siren digital character technology. Now, the next game in our list is The Last Stand Aftermath. In this game, you will encounter a premium single-player standalone. This is an action video game, which pretty much is still in development, and it doesn't have a confirmed release date. However, among the things that we can expect from this game are the following. Now, The Last Stand Aftermath is going to set you in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, where you'll have to use all of your stealth techniques to make your way through the many dangers out there, including many hordes of zombies. In this game, you, as the main protagonist, will be already infected by the virus, and eventually you will die. But the interesting part is that when that happens, you'll pick up the game again as a new survivor. However, you will have additional perks and upgrades based on your progress from the last gameplay, and you will be set out to try again, which is a concept that I had not seen before, and I'm curious to see how that is going to work out in this game. Anyways, this game will also offer a tense and moody atmosphere, and definitely will have exploration elements, as you will have to scavenge for materials to survive and craft items to build weapons. Alright, so we go into our next one, which is No More Room in Hell 2. This is a co-op first-person survival game. Pretty interesting to see that some of the zombie games are changing their perspective from single-player to multiplayer options, which I believe that adds a lot more value and fun to this type of games. But basically, this one is being worked by Lever Games. In this game, you and your friends will have to make your way through a deceased world, building teams of up to 8 different players. Now, something else that you need to be aware of is that this game will be presented with a post-apocalyptic world which was originated from the colon pandemic, which used to induce comas or deaths to its victims. And sadly, this type of ills could last for over a year. Imagine you being infected for over a year. Within this game, you can expect a lot of survival elements such as exploration in a full open world map where you will have to gather resources such as weapons, ammo, and gear. And now we have GTFO. GTFO is one of those games that is just looking pretty interesting, has a lot of potential, despite, this game is actually in early access and will continue to be in early access for about a year. But GTFO is a first-person shooter game that allows you to play with up to 4 players. Now, in this action terror game, you will definitely be challenged. So you as a player will get to play as a team of prisoners forced to explore and extract valuable artifacts. This from a vast underground complex, which by the way has been overrun by the terrifying creatures in this game. So team tactics will be key to this game, definitely an element that will help you survive. Additionally, you will gather weapons, tools, and resources, and you'll have to work with your team to unearth the answers about your past and how to escape from this nightmare. And lastly, we have Ill Project. Now, first and very important is that the current state of this game, well, it is not a game as of right now. It is more like a project, hence why it is called Ill Project. However, during the trailer, it is expressed that the idea is to demonstrate the level of hardcore in this game, and it is certainly a gore survival cinematic trailer that we have seen. Interesting to know is that everything within the trailer is rendered real-time using Unreal Engine. Also, it has been confirmed that Ill is currently not in development. However, I understand that the person working in this is creating a demo. Additionally, I understand that the owner of this project is also looking for investors and publishers. This is one of those games that really gets your attention. I mean, it's something from another level, at least to me it is. So we will see how this project develops as time goes by. And the last game in our list is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine. Now, it's not much known about this video game. However, the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six franchise has been known for being one of the best shooter games. It puts you into special missions to deal with terrorists and regimes. However, for this release, you will be looking at something different with a complete new experience. We've only received a teaser from this game, but so far it looks like it'll be a great game. In this game, you will be placed in the future, where Earth has been hit by an alien parasite infecting humans. Now, back in 2018, players have already had to deal with the infected humans. This can serve as a comparison. This event was known as Operation Chimera, and it appears that the development team was inspired in this event to bring out a brand new video game title. Rainbow Six Quarantine is being developed by an entirely new team at Ubisoft Montreal. They have been inspired by the long-standing brand legacy of tactical cooperation shooter, all of this to bring a truly more intense, chaotic, and with totally unpredictable missions, as you and your squad will risk everything every time that you step into quarantine. Alright my friends, well this is the video that I had prepared for you today. Make sure to drop a thumbs up for this one out so that we can get to as many people as possible, and if you enjoy this content, consider subscribing and activating all notifications on so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Now, I'll see you on my next video. Goodbye.